Gabrielle is now a major hurricane just towards the east of Bermuda. Some rapid intensification over the course of the last even 6 hours. So going from 90-mile-per-hour winds up now to 120. And you can even see on the satellite loop here, just it basically wrapping up that inner core, that eye wall becoming much more defined. And yeah, this intensified pretty quickly out here. Let's take a look at the forecast, because it's even expected to become a Cat 4 with 130-mile-per-hour sustained winds for a short period of time right off the east coast of Bermuda. Now, the good news, it is just far enough east that those Cat 3 and Cat 4 winds are not going to impact the island out there towards Hamilton directly, but indirectly some major waves and even some passing rain bands here on the left side of the storm system. Eventually, this is also going to influence the weather across the west coast of Europe as it gets wrapped up with an upper level low, kind of races off there. I think you're going to have a pretty big storm on tap for that area. But let's look over towards our satellite imagery, a little bit of a closer look. And yeah, you can see that inner core, basically the banding. But here is Bermuda right there on the left side of it. So even at this point, even how close as it is, actually, this is 150, 70 miles away from Bermuda. They're not really getting much. That's what we always say. The left side of the storm is the better side of the storm to be on. The right side, 150 miles out, you would be in the core of at least tropical storm strength winds. But thankfully, they are missing out on it. Here's a look at the storm history, though, from the NHC. Each forecast, this was stalled out as expected. Kind of a tropical storm, but over the course of the last 12 hours, look at it going from 75 to 90 to now 120 mile-per-hour winds from just this morning until here at 9 a.m. on Monday. Just explosive intensification. And it got into an area that's still the warm sea surface temperatures, but I think what happened is that we're starting to see a little bit of that shear with that flow coming in from the west that allowed for an extra burst of outflow aloft and allowing it to just kind of get that big burst of intensification and making it up to major hurricane status as it starts to transition to extratropical over the course of the next 24 hours. So there's this period here where, like, let's say you're blowing on a fire and the fire gets a nice little burst to it. If you blow on it too hard, it'll blow it out. If you don't blow on it at all, it'll kind of stall itself out. So we're kind of in that middle ground here. That's a crude analogy, but I think it helps kind of describe it here at least a little bit. But you see the core of the winds pulling off here towards the east and missing Bermuda directly, and kind of watch this right here as we go ahead through this afternoon. Only some passing showers, but still a pretty potent storm system, to say the least. And as I mentioned, this is going to race off towards the north and east, so not a good week for any sailing or anything like that. A lot of you are probably curious about other areas out here. We have moderate and a high risk of tropical development. GFS and the ECMWF, both of our guidances have been kind of hinting at these areas developing, but they're not consistent on when and where. For example, the Euro, the latest runs here shown in the yellow, has been showing a major hurricane kind of stalling off towards the south of Bermuda and lingering here in a Joaquin type fashion, while the GFX actually spins up this area towards the west and has it come on shore there around the Cape, basically Cape Hatteras area, Outer Banks, excuse me. And then it even has another area trying to develop just towards itself. The thing is, both show some sort of development, but they don't show consistency in it. Thus, we have to basically just rely on what we have out there right now. We have two areas of convection. Both of them are kind of fighting off a little bit of shear, and we'll see if they start to organize. I wouldn't want to get too much into more detail than that, outside of the fact that we do have some warm sea surface temperatures out ahead of this that would be conducive for tropical cyclone development. But to show you one particular model and say this is what's going to happen would be absolutely foolish. And my whole goal of these updates is to inform, educate, not hype. So not going to even go down that avenue, at least at this point. As always, thanks for stopping by. Check out firstcoastnews.com/Hurricane Central if you want more information on these other tropical areas or now our major hurricane, Gabrielle.